be the best I've heard you perform that one, sweetheart. Listen. She sang that the other day in Chicago with an auditorium full of young people, and they just sang the whole song with her all the way through, every lyric. I've never seen that happen. And she performed it. That was powerful. She's always telling me to listen to her. I've been trying to tell her to listen to me all these years. Now she's saying, now you listen. This is Women's History or Women's Her Story Month. And women do have a story. We all have a story, we have a tale, but we recognize the woman or the man with the womb, with that special pace of incubation. Sometimes it's not just the man with the womb, but the wound. Of our species, females are the most wounded for a lot of reasons. They start hurting early. They start feeling the cycle of life in them early. They know what they're tough. Women are built with a sort of an iron constitution that many of the males don't have. You have an ability to sustain life, to maintain life. Actually, more males are born than females, but males die, more males die. Boys die at birth than girls. Girls have that something, that strength, that ability to hang on, to sustain life, both for themselves and for whatever life comes through them. So we respect you, and we apologize again for the many times that we men have been disrespectful or insensitive or even just harsh. The culture has made it comfortable for men to be mean. It has made it comfortable for men to be disrespectful and insensitive and condescending toward women. The word in English for Chava is, which is Eve in Hebrew, but the King James translators translated it Eve, which is the subword for evil or evening. There's a darkness about the attitude of men, and that in the Western world more than any other place, but all around the world. Why would you take a word Chava and make it Eve, which is hinting of that you should be careful about them girls, stay away from them girls, the women to bring you down. So the whole mentality of women being used and women being abused is something that the culture has created and sustained over the years. And now with the Me Too movement, that pretty much shut that down. I mean, it almost overnight, it's just stunned in all of our faces, both male and female, but particularly men, that we're not gonna get by with stuff that we got by with culturally in the past. I don't think we'll ever be allowed to be that abusive again, ever. If it was our dads and our granddads and all that kind of stuff, it's just not gonna happen. So men need to have a big funeral because we gotta die to all that. It's a whole nother day. So I wanted to make mention of that, especially in light of that great song that Madge sings. One thing to listen, another thing to hear what somebody's saying. Not only what they say, but what they mean. There's always, every thought has a story. Every emotion has a story. Every energy has its own consciousness. Even a negative thought is conscious of its negativity as well as a positive thought is. Everything is conscious of itself, and everything is consciousness, awareness. So we're coming into an age of enlightenment, and we're beginning, and really the light is being shined and shown on things that have always been, we just didn't notice. People are not so much blind as blindfolded. And we're literally taking the blinds off, and we're starting to see both ourselves and others. Our theme for the month is letting go, which is one of the most probably commanding and challenging disciplines that a human being could ever experience, because human nature tends to have a hang on or hang in there mentality, as if something is always being subtly or even forcibly taken from us. There's always this idea that we're being abandoned or abused or vandalized, or somehow something or somebody is beginning with life. We hang on to life, hanging on for quote unquote dear life. The whole hang on mentality has caused a lot of stress in the human species. We're paranoid about hanging on to something, beginning with our breath. We live every day trying to stay alive. You've heard me say here sort of humorously that when somebody asks you, how are you doing? They're basically saying, how are you dying? Because from the time you come out of the mother's womb, you start that process supposedly back to wherever we came from, through the portal of death. So how you dying? I'm dying pretty good today. Or how you dying? I'm not dying as good. I'm not dying so good. Well, you're doing and dying all the time, and it's a subliminal message that something is missing or something is being taken or replaced. So we're dealing with this whole idea of hanging on. We spend most waking moments acting out the innate human instinct of survivalism. I love the quote of Viktor Frankl, "To live is to suffer. To survive is to find meaning in the suffering, to find purpose or significance or a sign or assignment in the suffering, in the pain, in the pathos." Why so much pain? Some people go through great, great pain just to stay alive. We have dehumanized one another by science. Sometimes you could connect somebody up to machines when they're really their body, their brain, everything is gone, but we want to hold on, so we just keep pulling and holding, trying to stay alive or keep somebody alive who's really transitioned to another dimension, another room, another way, another realm, but we want to hold on, hang on. So we have to be tough, hang on. I've said that to my children, I've said that to myself. I know what it is to hang on. And we sort of brag about hanging on or hanging out, or just hanging. That's like a trophy. Letting go is an entirely different discipline. And most of us are not familiar with that discipline. The culture doesn't even bring it up. It's a sign of weakness to let go. It's a sign of defeat to let go or to give up, because it's like dying. The opposite of survivalism is innate victimization of the soul, or perhaps the species overall. If you don't survive, then you are victimized by defeat, or by death, or by loss, or by abandonment, that you've given up something. We wrestle with that almost constantly. The ultimate victimization, of course, is death, the cessation of life or earthly existence. I gotta be here. Many people are not happy here, but we don't want to go. We don't want to go. Many folks who believe in heaven expect that they're going to go to heaven someday, but they don't want to go up on today's load. You going to heaven? I'm whatever heaven is. I've in my fundamentalist background, everybody looked forward to heaven and despised hell, and we all thought we were going to heaven, believed we would go to heaven. We'd come to Christ and given our lives, and we were good Christians and all that kind of stuff. But nobody wanted to die. If you get saved and die and go right to heaven, sometimes the greatest ministry would be to just get people saved and kill them, and they go straight to heaven. That mentality is a little bit obtruse, but we have thought about death and we associate it. Ram Dass, an American spiritual teacher, former academic, and clinical psychologist, wrote this: "In our Western culture, although death has come out of the closet, it is still not openly experienced or discussed. Allowing dying to be so intensely present enriches both the preciousness of each moment and our detachment from it." When you talk about letting go, everybody say detach. Detach. Detachment. To de-attach. To no longer be connected to something. What is detachment? And we all actually demonstrate that from time to time, almost at will. It's a coping mechanism to act like something doesn't exist. When I say life is basically a sexually transmitted disease, your mom and them were intimate, whether they were married or not, and you are now with the dis-ease or the anxiety or the angst or the tension of being incarcerated or incarnated in your body. And this disease is incurable, and it's terminal, but it's not untreatable. So we're all in the treatment of dealing with the dis-ease and trying to relax and find peace and detach ourselves from anything that makes us uncomfortable. Really, letting go is a form of giving up your control of the narrative as someone else sees it. How do you give up controlling how somebody's story about you is, rather than your control of your story about you? What is your narrative? How do you hear it? How do you speak it? How do you handle what people are thinking? And we're real concerned about that. I learned to let go by giving my attempt to control the narrative up as others perceive it. I can't control how you see me. And you cannot control how I see you. So once I learned the discipline of letting go how you see me and making that not unimportant, but less important, the most important thing is is my own narrative, my own story, my own tale. T-A-L-E-N-T-A-I-L. I got to do my own thing. Now, that's quite a challenge to be able to do that. When people perceive or receive of you, what people perceive and how they receive you begins with how you perceive and how you receive you. Most of us are wrestling about what other people think about us more than what we think about us, or we are influenced by what we think about us based on what somebody else thinks about us, beginning with our parents and our grands and godparents and our siblings and then our friends, and ultimately what God thinks, and folks who believe in the devil, what the devil thinks and what angels think, what the police think, the school teacher, what everybody thinks, and you got all these thoughts and everybody's opinions and you're wrestling with them all day. How do you just let it go and shut the front door and the back door and lock them both? Come on now. That's a pretty huge discipline. You can get to the place where you can just say, I don't give a dime, D-I-M-E, or a penny or a nickel for it. Well, it's hard. It's easier to say that when you say, I don't care what you think. You actually mean the exact opposite. I really do care what you think. And it ticks me that you don't think about me the way I want you to think about me. Please like me. I don't know how to tell you to get to the place where you don't really care what people think. But I think I can help you focus more on what you think about you. And that's where you should start. And maybe that's where we should all end, about how I experience me. You know, if you go home and say, I enjoyed the service, I enjoyed the song, I enjoyed the sermon, the real question is, did you enjoy the self? You. Did I enjoy myself? Oh, I enjoyed the service. I enjoyed the sermon. I enjoyed that song, but I didn't enjoy myself. Or did you enjoy yourself? It's not about a song, a sermon, or a service. It's about the self, the soul. How do you like you? How you dying? How do you experience you? Do you realize how much of our time we spend focusing on impressing somebody else? I'm not saying that's all bad. I think it's irresponsible to totally ignore what others think. It's cold and it's a little bit self-serving. But when you put what somebody else thinks out of place, you experience yourself awkwardly and inaccurately. How do I experience me? What people think about me. I've been in pulpits all my life and on stages all my life, and a lot of my self-worth, when we lost everything, I don't know that I was giving up anything or letting anything go. I walked away from what I thought was my inheritance spiritually, of what was my calling, what my place and space in life as a minister. 15 years ago, when everything dissolved, it took me some time to get myself to the place where I could fully relinquish, divest myself, not only of the things and the positions and other people's opinions, but how I saw myself in relationship to them. Any of you who have ever lost a job goes through this experience of how you feel about yourself because you lost the job. Either you got fired, even if you get promoted on the job, does your opinion of yourself change when you're the supervisor rather than subservient in some place? To go to the head of the company or the head of the class, or to never go to the head of anything and always feel like you're less significant because nobody gave you an award or reward or medal or tattoo about anything special in your life. It's interesting to if we could just have a conversation, go around the room and say, how many of you have never gotten an award in your life for anything? I remember my older brother just this past summer, my only brother, who was born on the same day as my sister, Renee. Two of my sisters were going to California, and on July 8th is my brother and sister's birthday, 1 year apart, exactly to the day, July 8th, both of them. Neither of them, my oldest sister, whom I never met, transitioned. She died within a matter of hours. Her name was Caroline. And then Tanya came. She was the oldest who's alive. She's 70. Then my brother, Jingles, came. Now, my mother had horrible pregnancies, all 7 of them. Lots of nausea, a lot of vomiting, a lot of sickness, a lot of pain, a lot of agony. She didn't enjoy it. She's an only child, and she had 7. And loves all of them, us. And don't like none of us. I hope you listened, Mom. I'm telling you a story. How many of you not only love your children or spouse or siblings or self, but don't like you? You don't know how not to love. That's a very natural human trait. It's like breathing. Loving comes very naturally. It's automatic. It's habitual. Liking is a whole different discipline. Right. Most of us don't even believe God likes us. Most of us don't like ourselves. We pick at ourselves constantly, and the only time we get mad when somebody else picks at us is because it amplifies the things we already don't like about ourselves. And it hurts when somebody you love doesn't like you. It'd be different if they didn't love you. You expect people who love you to like you. When they don't like you and just love you, it hurts differently. Talk to me, somebody. All of you live in a house full of people that basically don't like you. Oh, we like each other periodically. Talk to me, somebody. We like you, and you like yourself at various moments. Depends on what outfit you're wearing. If you got that head, D it. If you've lost enough weight or gained enough weight, if you cook the meal right, you're always performing. How do you let go of all of that and just be? Sometimes letting go means letting be, not trying to fix it or affix yourself to it. Just surrendering without fear that it might go wrong. Most folk already think it's going wrong. Life is going wrong. And some folks are so addicted to adrenaline, the high that adrenaline gives you. If things really smooth out and go well, you'll create a crisis because you live off the crisis. You don't have any significance. If you ain't fixing something, you might as well be dead. So you will break something just to fix it. Y'all got friends and family like that. There are people that you just, if it gets too smooth, you feel like you're irresponsible. You shouldn't even be alive. So you got to create something, and you'll just pick at every little, what they call picky. How do you say it? Picayune? Picayune. You know Picayune? She lived next door to me. It's a really, when you give up the narrative, letting go employs and implores the discipline of detachment. Everybody say detachment. Detachment. That's very powerful. And I'm going to close, I'm just about out of time, with at least some of Let It Be. That's a song I recorded, and I want you to, because I'm not going to be able to finish this, but I'm learning the discipline of detaching myself from all of it. Not total disconnection, but not in bondage or anchored to pain or pathos. I need to know how to separate myself from the things that I cannot control. And listen, what you let go, lets go of you. If you hang on to it, it will hang on to you. When you release it, it somehow, whatever it is, releases you. That's sort of an ethereal, esoteric, spiritual, in-between note space. Do like this, everybody. Come on, just. Come on, stretch really good. Wrap your arms around yourself, and let me let you hear a part of this song that I recorded. David actually arranged it and produced it some years ago. It's my favorite song on an album that we call After the Rain. Really mean after all the pain of losing everything, and I'll tell you more about that the next time I get to talk on this subject here. Wrap your arms, just get in a relaxed position. Close your eyes.
When I find myself in times of trouble, there's a voice that comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. And in my hour of darkness, God is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom. let it be, let it be, oh, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. When the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer. Let it be, let it be. Oh, though they be divided, there is still a chance that they will see, yes. And this will be an answer. Let it be. 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 This will be your answer. Let it be. Let it be. Oh, let it be. Let it be.
Shake it off. Come on, shake it off.
Ooh, let it be.
Do this.
This will be your answer.
Give somebody a high five on either side, Say, I'm letting it go. I'm kicking it in. I'm going to my next level.
When the night
Now stand on your feet all over the house. Come on, stand on.
There's still a light that shines in.
Do it one more time. Shake it off. Come on, let's leave some stuff in here. Kind of kick it aside like that. I'm going to my next level. Are you doing that? Let it go. Let it be. Let yourself be free. Surrender all pride, ego out the window. Another day. All good. Everybody say it's all good. Because it's all God. Yeah. De-attach or detach really means stop attacking. In other words, your offensiveness is separated from you. When you detach something, you stop fighting it. You stop pouncing on it. And that energy that you will use to attack, you reconnect with yourself. You control the narrative only of what you think and know about yourself. Everybody say detach. Let it go one more time. Have a wonderful week. Detaching, okay? Untying, being loose. I command you free. In the name and nature of all that's good. I love you. Peace and blessing.
So happy you're visiting with us online today. We love connecting with people all across the country and around the world, sharing our powerful message of love beyond belief.
There's something new happening here. You can now join All Souls as a virtual member. Our virtual membership is designed for friends who live outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and who want to engage with All Souls in a meaningful way.
You can be part of an expanding family, a global family really, wherever you are. If you live in Oklahoma,
Ohio,
or Orange County, California,
Canada,
or Cameroon. By becoming a virtual member, you'll be able to deepen your connections with members and friends here in Tulsa and with members wherever you are.
Each week, you'll receive special All Souls content tailored for you, our virtual members. Virtual members have access to pastoral care, to personal prayers, and also receive invitations to exclusive web events.
You can learn more, and if you're ready, you can become a virtual member today by visiting allsoulschurch.org/virtual membership.
We're grateful our ministries are having a positive impact on your life, and we want to share the good news of love beyond belief with more and more people. So no matter what, we need your support to keep this ministry growing and thriving. So please consider making a gift today. You can do so by texting
LOVEBB for Love Beyond Belief to 73256 or simply visit our website. You are a blessing in our lives. May you be blessed.
and be a blessing.